All right, I'm Coach AP,
Coach Bess.
and we're looking at Bessie's knees all night here. Look at these things. Look at those patella tendons.
That's it. That's a little
Those
kid knowledge right there, eh?
Oh, hey, I've dabbled in a little bit of everything in university. I think I probably have about 100 courses, but I only needed about 50. At the early 20s, I just kind of dabbled a little bit into everything. But we're going to talk not about physiology and kinesiology today. We're going to talk about hockey. We're going to talk about 2012, little tips on what they can do for body contact. And we're going to talk about U18 Kickoff is this weekend. And Coach Bess, 2012s, you got tryouts coming up. Any tips for players who are going into body contact?
I think the biggest thing is that the game that you are playing has not changed. It's still the same game. Yes, we've introduced this body contact, but you've had body contact your whole life growing up, whether you want to or not, whether it's pushing in line in U7 to little bumps in games. I find most officials do a good job of letting things happen along boards. Obviously, yeah, I'd say that there's kind of some open ice things that are going to start happening now. Biggest advice, particularly when you're in a try setting, is just scanning the ice and taking some inventory of what's going on. Like just a quick shoulder check, a quick glance. You're protecting yourself, but it's helping you make that kind of next play. I don't think that you need to overhype yourself for contact. Again, it's a natural progression. It's coming along. Just scanning the ice, taking inventory when you're there.
People get really, really intimidated by the fact that contact is coming in, but the game has changed a lot. And I don't think there's as much open ice as there used to be. Even in the younger levels, you just don't see it as much. Now, U15, there are some players that'll be taking runs at smaller guys. You'll see those second-year guys trying to take advantage of some of the smaller first-year guys. And if you're a smaller first-year guy, stick up for yourself. A guy takes a run at you, move your feet, right? And just make sure that you're aware of what's going on. And drop a little reverse hit. A guy's coming in trying to hammer you. Okay, I see him coming. I know he's coming. Load up my weight on my back leg and just hit him right on the chest. How do I stick up to a bully? Sometimes I just got to smack him in the mouth. And I mean that. And honestly, I mean that. Don't let guys just take liberties on you in the contact game, because if you let them do it, they're going to continue to do it. And they're going to continue to do it until you do something about it. So, even in a trial, I got to stick up for myself within the rules and within the context of the game.
What a message to send on the first day back to school.
You have to stick up for yourself, and within the rules of the game. I'm not going to put my team down taking a 4-minute penalty, doing something silly, or taking a 2-minute penalty in a key point of the game. There's been taking runs at me all night long. It's a 8-0 game. It's late in the game. Okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take a run at this guy. I'm not gonna back down from this guy, because the bully in the schoolyard is just gonna keep coming at you. You have to be able to defend yourself, especially if you're a smaller 2012, and be scrappy. Play with passion. It's hard to hit a moving target, but it's also I'm not gonna be as confident to go at a guy that's really scrappy and feisty. So we've got to get that intensity up.
I think you're playing big, right? It's not merely if you're big or if you're small, it doesn't really matter. It's about how you play. I think some of the favorite guys I watch at the U18 and junior levels are kind of some of those smaller energy guys who are almost water beetles and just don't stop moving, never give up on pucks, right? They're not scared of the contact. They're actually going to embrace it, because I think you gain a lot of respect from that. I remember growing up, especially in U15, just with the size difference, but there's a lot of small guys who I would almost say were probably some of the tougher and more physical, just because they play with that little bit of fearlessness. And if they got blown up going to try to hit a bigger guy, didn't care. I wasn't supposed to win that battle, but I'm going to throw all my weight behind it. I'm not going to play scared. I think it's the way you have to.
Flat-footed in the danger zones of the ice, a couple of feet off from the wall, and contact is coming from me from straight on, so it's coming from me from the camera. If I let the player hit me right on the chest in the danger zone, that's a dangerous situation. I want to put myself in the right spot. I want to get a little bit closer, absorb the hit, like we were talking about in one of our contact clinics there.
Yeah. Now, I think the biggest thing we talked about in one of our contact clinics we had too, it's a responsibility not only of the person who's receiving the hit, but the responsibility of the person who is giving the hit to understand when guys are in vulnerable spots. We talked a little bit about Nick Cromwell. Nick Cromwell is probably the best of taking advantage of guys in vulnerable spots. Now, a lot of guys put themselves in bad spots, and by the book, it was clean, right? But you got to be able to protect yourself, particularly in that distance away from the boards. Even if a guy's got his head down coming up ice, maybe I don't need to completely annihilate the guy. Can I still separate with him the puck with his head down? Absolutely. But do I need to make it vicious? Do I need to make it violent? I don't know if that's necessarily needed.
Checking, at the end of the day, the whole point of contact is to separate the puck from the player. And there's so many different ways to do that. And maybe I don't need to even throw the hit. There's times when the puck is exposed, it's right there for the taking. I just stick lift. I just get the stick on puck and just bump it into space and then just jump in front of that player. I got body position now. I accomplished everything that I wanted to do with that hit.
Yep. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, we say it all the time, lead with your stick on the puck first, because if I bump the puck through, maybe it's just a small little bump and I've got body position. I don't actually need to finish anything. Again, as you said, you've accomplished everything. Particular, I think, with angling now, especially if you're defending skating forwards, like, you're probably going stick on puck, and if you had a good angle, you're probably already disrupted it. There's no point in me basically taking steps back and allowing that guy the half second. Instead, take the half second that I gained. I can make my next play, right?
This is probably the biggest learning year for a player is this year, because it's not only skill and faster and players with puberty, hitting puberty. There's a contact element this year and first year U18.
Yep.
Probably the two hardest years for players, in my opinion.
I'm going to go hot take here. U15 and junior hockey are bigger jumps than making the jump to U18.
Yeah, I just think that 3-year level. 3-year level, like, it's the first time you're ever going to play in a 3-year level. Your 17-year-olds are coming to the rink in a car and they got a beard, and then the 15-year-old guys are like, there's a lot of them still haven't hit puberty, so it's such an age of physical discrepancy. I think kids that are 15 should play against 15s. I think that's really healthy, unless you're an absolute stud. Like, if you're like a kid that's like an Alexis Lafreniere, or you're, some of these top kids that are coming out of Quebec, yeah, they can handle that. But there's so many kids that for every one of that kid, there's hundreds of kids that, like, U18 AAA is just way out of that's way above their skis.
Within Atlantic Canada, do we have the numbers to be able to support something like that, though? Because again, you got guys leaving. If everybody stays, maybe, but that's not the culture that we have right now.
There's enough players. They just got to make them better. Like, how important is winning? This is another big thing. How important is winning at the U18 level? I mean, every trophy I've ever won in just about every level is in a closet in there if you want to go look at them. I don't have them out on display. They don't really matter that much to me as a coach. And as a player, it's great to win, but at these ages where, like, okay, if I'm coaching U15 AAA and we don't win the championship, I ain't getting fired. I can go 0-30 the whole year, and unless I do something where, like, okay, like, inappropriate with kids, parents, whatever, if I'm still getting the job the next year, they're still going to call me. Yeah. Versus if I'm in pro level or I'm in junior level, if we don't win, I'm getting fired. I'm not going to have a job. So it's different. Once you get to that age, there's money involved, there's seats, there's sponsors. I get it. But, like, it's not like the sponsors in U13 AAA are checking up on how well that team did this year. It's just, here you go. Like, they're not checking up, and, like, if they win or lose, it's really irrelevant. It's just going on the sleeve on the jacket. It's a totally different game. I think in some respects we have to appreciate it for being that. And, like, okay, so what? We lost a few guys, and now U18's a little bit older. I give this kid an opportunity to play and get better and continue to play versus, I don't have a place to play, I'm just going to hang it up. So, yes, maybe it dilutes the pool. Maybe it makes it a bit weaker. But, like, again, how important, okay, let's develop as many players as we can, keep as many players in this funnel that we can. So the Monktonian's a little bit weaker. Yeah. Like, for me, that's an OL scenario. It just is. Right? And okay, like, you want to compete against Ontario, or it just depends on philosophy. Everybody's philosophy is different. I'm not saying someone's philosophy is wrong by saying we want to compete at nationals or want to compete here. That's fine, perfectly fine. But just my philosophy is, let's try to keep as many players playing as possible, because so few of them are going to play pro, man. So few of them are going to play Major A. Like, I mean, just look at the stats. They don't lie.
Numbers don't lie.
Right? I mean, how many kids play Major Junior? Like, how many kids are going to play at the next level? I mean,
we got over half the first round in the Quebec League is not playing in the league this year.
Well, and there's a reason for that.
Now, we have yes, there's a lot of different factors coming into play here, but think about that.
I love it. And because I looked at the regimen.
Yep.
I don't even want to say, like, again, we're in a no-names program here, but they sent back one of their top first-round picks, who was a top 10 pick, and they sent him to UCC. Yeah. And the reason why is they didn't want him to play on the fourth line, sit around there, not develop, play 8, 9, 10 minutes a night, or even just play like 12 or 13 minutes a night. Because I don't think you can play your fourth line 8, 9 minutes a night this year and then get those guys back the following year. They're going to junior A, they're going to college. They're blowing the zone. They're not going to come back to your program. They're going to ask for a trade. They're going to go somewhere else because the players have all the power now.
Yeah. I can remember a few years back. Now, Mike Babcock, say what you want about him. I really agreed with what he said here. He said there's nothing wrong being the better player at a little lower level.
Totally agree.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm on that philosophy in the sense that there's a lot of kids who all of a sudden have never been the guy or the girl or never gotten to have that confidence where I'm a go-to player. I'm playing in the top 6. I get to play 20 or 25 minutes a night. And getting to do that at a lower level can do, I think, a lot for people's confidence. Like we're seeing it now in guys who we coached in the past who came back for another year, maybe U18, or came back for another year of U16 before making a jump. And all of a sudden now it's okay. Like I've had that experience of I'm a leader. I am the guy, like all of those things adding up, that's actually going to help me rather than rushing to a level I wasn't ready to actually compete in. I could survive, but I couldn't compete and play. And the biggest thing I think is that everyone's path is different and it's okay to be different. It's okay to not be in a rush and shorten your runway, okay? If I can lengthen my runway out, play as much hockey as I can, and play it for as long as I can, rather than all of a sudden it's like, well, I've been a major junior, or maybe I played junior A 2 years early and now I'm stuck. Playing U18, playing U17, it's not a bad thing.
We got NHL coming up.
We do.
And we're going to talk a little bit about, we've got some salary cap stuff going on. I think people kind of caught on to Tampa Bay and what they were doing there for a little while. I think there was some book, we're not going to call it book cooking, but they were in a pretty good situation. They knew how to manipulate around the cap situation. Now it's changing.
But they didn't cheat.
No.
It was within the rules, and that's the biggest thing that people's like, well, they cheated. It's like, no, it's not. Every other team in the league had the same advantage to them at that point in time.
Totally agree.
Like,
everybody could have done it. They just did it better than everybody else.
But even if you look at, I think technically, you remember the Latvia bench play. It was probably like the 2014 Olympics. It's like the people doing it lots. You have the
in one bench out the other. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Technically, I'm pretty sure that change is illegal because it's like too far of a distance. So everyone complains about it, but everyone does it. So it's like, again, there's rules within the game, and yes, they're there for a reason. I don't think Tampa had ever cheated. Even you can say Vegas. Now, Mark Stone coming back every single game, won a couple of years in a row. Yes, is it questionable? But was it within the rules?
Ryan Bessie, we call this a loophole. I think
loophole.
that the smartest people, you look at people who are wealthy investors.
Yeah.
You tell me that guys like Donald Trump don't have loopholes in the system so they can keep this and keep that and still make lots of money on the side while they're still... There's so many little loopholes, and I feel that some of the NHL teams, the top teams, they figured out the loopholes just as well as anybody, and that's part of the reason why they're good. They have good management. Yeah. So, but now the league has caught on a few wrinkles into the salary cap playoffs. Can you elaborate on that, Bess?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to have to be cap compliant come playoffs now, it makes sense. If I had to be cap compliant for 82 games, I need to be cap compliant for my 20 that I have to play in the cup. Like, that's just, it seems fair to me. It seems realistic. I think they sped that change up. I don't know if it was going to happen this year. Now it is. Saw it last night on Twitter. It's good. Again, at the end of the day, now everyone's playing on an equal playing field. Now, some people will come at me with that and talk about state tax, income tax. Anyway, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now.
I think that's such a, I just think people are just looking for something. I mean,
we are
come
going
on.
down the rabbit hole. Okay.
We are going down that rabbit hole because I want to go down this rabbit hole, and we're going down this rabbit hole right now, Ryan Bessie, and here's the reason why we're going down that rabbit hole. People want to talk about, oh, well, no state income tax. Guys, Florida were bad for years. Before Tampa were bad for years, okay? After Richards and St. Louis and LeCavier, they had all that money tied up in those three players. After they won the Cup in 04-05, and then after for like a long stretch of time when the salary cap era existed, they were bad. The rules in Florida haven't changed. The income tax rule had not changed, and there's been stretches of time when the Florida Panthers could not get past first round. Am I right in saying that?
You are correct. We also haven't mentioned that everyone's paid in U.S. dollars, correct? So if you're playing in Canada, you're getting paid your whatever your value is, but in Canadian dollars, it's actually going to be more, correct?
But
now, and then you're talking cost of living, and then we're getting down a massive rabbit hole.
That's a different rabbit hole. But saying that the income tax is the reason why these teams are winning, no, it's not. That's not the reason why these teams are winning. But I do believe that if you are living in Dallas, you're living in Tampa, you're living in Florida, if I'm a free agent, where do I want to go? Do I want to go to Edmonton where it's freezing cold all year round and I got media up my butt all day long? Right. I'm all on this. Canada, hockey is Canada, folks. If you were playing in a Canadian market, you are a big deal. You can't walk down the road without someone saying, I want an autograph, and you're there trying to sign autographs. I've had buddies that played in the NHL. They're sitting at a restaurant in anywhere in Canada, and you're sitting there, and it's like, I can't even eat my dinner. I got people coming over wanting autographs. When you're in Tampa, man, they don't know who you are. You go to practice, you got one media, you got some media, then you go play golf. So if I'm a free agent, do I want to go to Edmonton where it's freezing in the winter?
It's a recruiting advantage, right?
Absolutely. But to say income tax is the reason why a team won Stanley Cup is no. It might have a little bit of a piece to it because players can keep more of their money. But a lot of it is great management, good coaching, management for big time for Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at some of the trades they pulled off. I mean, Sam Reinhart, good move on that one, Buffalo. You've made so many great decisions, Buffalo. I tell you what. You're the Cleveland Browns of the NHL.
I think I looked at it. It was somebody posted the other day of what their roster could be. Now, again, that's all hypothetical because if you keep one guy, butterfly effect, everything changes. But if you look at the sheer amount of talent they have had in their organization within the last 10 years and have now left, or I go more, probably the last 12 or 13 years, it's a lot.
Well, we're assuming we're going to throw Buffalo down towards the bottom this year of the NHL standings. Who do you like to win? Preseason.
So, it's hard for me to say this as I'm a Leafs guy. I can still remember I got into the Leafs when I was probably about 12 or 13. That corresponds to when the first Game 7 collapse against Boston was, when the score was 4-1. Vegas to me is a team. You add Marner into that mix. I don't think they didn't. Again, you lose Nick Raw. It is what it is. You add a player like that. To have Marner not play in Toronto and to play in Vegas, I think is going to do him a lot better. There's a lot less media attention. Obviously, the Knights are still big down there, not to the same extent that the Leafs are here in Ontario and throughout Canada. I think it's going to be really, really interesting. And I think his mind was made up. He wanted to be there anyway. So
I don't think that Marner has to be the guy in Vegas.
Well, now we're getting into that.
I don't think he has to be the guy. He can be a supporting cast, be a good passer, a good playmaker. You're not relying on him to win the playoffs. He's just a complimentary piece versus in Toronto. That's what I mean. He wasn't the guy. He didn't have to be the guy. There was a lot of other guys that could handle that role of being the guy, and he played well.
And then made the play to McDavid.
Big spots, yeah. OT goal there against Sweden.
Side,
Gets him there.
Yeah.
Right? So, in my opinion, I think he's in a better spot.
Yeah.
My pick in the Western Conference is, again, a lot of people are like AP are really drinking the Ryan Stacey Kool-Aid, and that's fine. Squeak is my boy, and I'm on the St. Louis Blues this year, boys. Bucknevich, Buck Naked, Seinfeld. Why not? Hey, what a name. But a lot of times, the guys don't know who's in St. Louis. I love Colton Parayko. I think Bennington's going to have a great year because he's in that Olympic mode. He's got the right head for it. He's a guy, when he's dialed in, when he's ready to play, he's as good as anybody in the world. We saw it in February.
You know what? The thing that impressed me the most with him is his puck handling. I didn't realize it until the gold medal game, how easy he makes a breakout and can break down a forecheck. It's crazy.
He's won a cup. He's won a Four Nations. He can win. I like their D. They got Cam Fowler, got some big boys back there. Up front, guys like Kyrou, we don't really know how good those guys are. Robert Thomas, he's invited to the Olympic stuff, some of the Olympic stuff. They got 3 guys invited to that Olympic stuff. So, to me, I think they've got a good team. I think they're deep right down the board. We don't really know how good a guy like Jake Neighbors is because we don't know him. He plays in that St. Louis market. Like, if you're in the East Coast of Canada, we don't really follow them as much. You don't see him unless and it's a little bit later start time. You got that Central Time. They're in the West Coast. Like the Western team's a little bit harder to watch. If I want to watch Western Conference here in Newfoundland, I got to stay up till like way past my bedtime.
And you got to be on the ice the next morning.
Exactly. So I don't get to see the West, but I really think St. Louis, you look at their team on paper, they've got a solid club. Look out. They're going to be my preseason Stanley Cup Western Conference pick. And in the Eastern Conference, I mean, I still got to go with Florida. I'm sorry, they just have a really good team.
They have, I think, about another 2-year window.
Fine, I got another year.
But I think that you got 2. I think I'd give you 2. If you look at the core and what they've been able, everyone, for the most part, took a little bit less to keep that core intact. Like, I don't. Now, Kachuk's probably out until January. That's fine.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
No, you just want him for the playoffs.
You need him in the playoffs, and you'll be cat compliant. It'll be all good. You know who's a team I'm actually really excited to watch, and again, it's going to pain me again, is Montreal Canadiens. There's a lot of young talent there. I saw them last March. I was at the Bell Center. Maybe the best atmosphere in sports. And at least in hockey. It's
Great Barnes.
Unbelievable. Watch them in Colorado play. There's a lot of talent there, and it does remind me of when the Leafs started. There's a lot of talent on the ice. Every game is exciting, right? There's probably a play that comes out of nowhere. You're like, oh my God, what just happened? Like when Hudson has the puck, like he's going to make mistakes, but I feel like what he accomplishes outweighs the mistakes that happen, right? I'm excited to see. I think you got Montembeault. I'm okay with it.
I think it's a good time for the NHL to have good Canadian teams because it definitely makes it more like when Montreal are good, man. It's kind of like in football when Dallas are good. Or it's kind of like in baseball when the Dodgers and the Yankees are good. These are flagship programs that when those teams play on TV, the ratings are through the roof. The sponsors are coming in. I mean, I know a guy who works for one of the cable companies. He's like, when Montreal Toronto play, man, in the playoffs, the sponsorship is just so much different. And I think having Montreal being good in the playoffs and making deep runs, I think would be very healthy for the league and for Canadian markets. But like Ric Flair says, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And right now, Florida have that white mane going right now. Woo! They are the man in the NHL, but they have a lot of miles on. This happened in Chicago a couple years ago.
It's true.
The more miles, a lot of those guys are going to be playing at the Olympics. Is that going to take its toll on them?
Now, but you look at Chicago.
More hockey.
Look at Chicago. Chicago was 2010, 2013, 2015, right? That was the 3. You had an Olympics in 2010 at the beginning, and then you had an Olympics partway through in 2014, and they still got the job done.
That's true.
So,
but then after that, they just fell off a cliff. Yes. So do Florida have a cliff? There's only one way to find out, and Father Time's the only one. Father Time's undefeated.
Yep.
Except in my case, if you watch me play pickleball, Father Time has not caught up to me yet.
Yet.
And by the way, let's thank our sponsors, Alphas. Got a new store opening up this month, September. Open up out Mount Pearl, so be sure to take a look for the soft opening on that. And they have a back to school sale coming up.
We loved the Vision collab with them. That was a real nice. That was a great.
They're dudes, man. Honestly, doing that video for us, really, really genuinely appreciate it. Great guy. Lucas Hillier Media did that video, by the way. I just want to give Lucas a quick plug. We had fun that day. We even gave him a stick and let him shoot around. I coached him in hockey school awesome. 15 years ago.
That's awesome.
So again, that makes me feel a little bit old because now he's a grown up. So I
feel like everyone makes you feel old now.
I think, especially after we had our fantasy football draft the other day and we were cracking old person jokes about how often we had to go to the bathroom at night. And you really start to think shit, I am getting old. But, I think, again, Father Time's undefeated. We're going to move into, we're not talking about old people for the rest of the day, I promise. We're going to talk about U18. Because U18 here in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador is starting up this weekend.
Yep.
And it's starting up in town. So are you going to be going to a bunch of games?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get there as much as I can. I mean, I think Friday, I believe, is first games. Friday or Thursday?
They usually start them Friday morning early.
Yeah,
it's school. You get a bit of time off school.
Yeah, start with school Wednesday, get Friday off. Pretty good day.
Well, I mean, the first week is always syllabus and peace out,
Hey, you're talking to a teacher. I want to get right into the content. There's no wasted days.
As my buddy used to say, Mr. Lodge, bell to bell. We go bell to bell here in this class.
That's it? So, but yeah, I'm going to try to get there for sure, probably Friday, see if I can make a game or two Saturday and Sunday. Just kind of really excited to see how the 2010s adjust. I'm excited to see a couple of those 09s coming back. And then honestly, I think there's the stigma of being a third year in a U18 league has gone. It's not bad for playing as a third year, and it's good. I'm excited to see a couple of those guys, particularly when you're looking at guys and how they can transition to junior hockey. Again, it's just exciting to have hockey back. Something to look forward to every weekend.
That's a good point on those third years too. I mean, there's been numerous third years off the top of my head that going back to my days with the Q and working for the Maritime League.
Yep.
There's a lot of players there that had some really good third year and went on to be solid Maritime League players, or went on to sign right out of that year to play Maritime League or play in the CCHL or whatever. So
there's just so many kids that you just need to keep playing.
Yeah.
Right? Just keep playing, right? Your run, again, we talked about it earlier. Don't shorten your runway. Just keep playing, and again, good things usually come.
I didn't see many U18 games last year. Congratulations to the East Coast Blizzard on winning. And they got a pretty good team coming back this year. I'm looking at some of the rosters. There's a couple names there on all the city teams. Now, I haven't taken a look at Central, West, and Tri-Pan. I haven't looked at their rosters, but looking at the city ones, there's a couple names there that I'm really happy to see their name there.
Yep.
Again, not naming names, but just players that might not have been name brand AAA players all the way up through, that now they're getting opportunity. And like we talked about earlier, sometimes the pool, say, gets diluted from guys going here or there, but that might mean an opportunity for a kid that's a good player that might have gotten overlooked in the past, that might not have played AAA all the way up through U13, 15. Now it's getting an opportunity, good athlete, maybe some good athletes, some parental genetics there. There's some things to really get excited about, and you're like, can they make that jump? Yep. That's probably one of the most excited things I am to look at some of these city teams, because I'm looking at some names, I'm like, okay, I'm not as familiar with that player. Or, wow, that player was not part of those U15 hitmen teams to win the Atlantics, or wasn't playing AAA all the way through. Can they continue like this, like they're doing?
Late bloomers.
I love a good late bloomer.
Yeah.
I love a good underdog story. I love late bloomers. I think it's fantastic to see. And also, kudos to Growlers and Blizzard for picking players like that. Not just going with, this player was here in the years past, or they were really good in U9. Okay, this is a good player here, and they had a great training camp, so we're going to go with them.
I think that you're seeing, and this is a comment a lot about junior hockey now, but training camp for a lot of teams does not mean a whole lot anymore. It used to become, and that's a whole, we can talk about that.
It does a Q, man. Most of these guys already signed before they even go.
A team's picked for the most part.
It is. It's just getting in shape and getting to know each other.
Yeah, and as right or wrong, again, you can weigh in, but I feel like people will sit on both sides of the fence. I think there's pros to both sides. I think there's a lot of cons to both sides too. You're never going to make everybody happy, but topic for another day before we keep going.
Because this is going to keep going on and on. We can be here all day, but we got to have some content for our next video, Bess.
Yeah, wow.
And our next video is coming back. We're going to Grand Falls, New Brunswick this weekend. We will be in Western New Brunswick. Excited to do our first ever hockey camp there. So looking forward to meeting the people of Grand Falls. I'm working in what I'm going to say the Seneschal Center. Is that how I say it?
So I've only been there a couple of times.
Did I say it right though?
It looks correct based off of the spelling. My French, though, come see, come saw at best.
Grand Falls were not in the league, in the Maritime League. When I played, it was Woodstock. So going down to the Thunder Valley was always a treat. I was used to stop in to get a little sausage dog at Oromocto Irving, the Blue Canoe Irving. Delicious. I used to hide behind the vending. There was a little rack of chips and stuff. We used to hide behind there so our coach wouldn't see me eating the sausage dog. So, yeah, don't do that, kids, if you're playing junior hockey. That was a bad decision.
Fun trivia question.
Sure.
One of my 2 junior games in Woodstock.
In the Thunder Valley. Name the stadium. Name the stadium.
It was. It would have been. I can't name the stadium, but I can tell you. I can picture it.
He should know.
Okay.
What color were the seats?
Color seats. Well, I don't know. It was one side.
Everything what color were the seats?
Probably white.
Green.
I don't know.
They were green, and the name of the stadium was the Carleton Civic Center. It was my first ever Maritime Junior A League game. Was that stadium?
Yeah.
And I had 5 points.
Wow, Mr. Flex, I played 5 minutes. So...
I'm not joking you. I had one heck of a game, but I got traded to Charlottetown, and the GM of Charlottetown at the time, I had played with his son at Team Atlantic. So he was like, okay, we'll reunite you guys. We're rebuilding. The year before they had gone for the RBC. They hosted. But then the next year, they lost the stadium because the PEI Rocket came in. So we had a team full of 18-year-olds. We were building around that age group. So we were the youngest team in the league by a wide margin. We had no 20s. Not one. Actually, we had a 20-year-old goalie, Sebastian Leonard, but then we traded him at Christmas, so we had no 20s. So we were building around 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds. So I got an opportunity to play. And, power play won, but first came right in. They got an opportunity to play, and I had a really good game. I had a really good weekend that weekend, and that kind of got me off to the right start. So if I had went in and had a rough first weekend, I'm probably back on the third, fourth line. But the fact that and that's the thing about junior hockey is you got to make the most of your opportunities.
Big flex over here.
Favorite?
Big flex.
Still a top 100 all-time Maritime League scoring.
Just saying.
Is right here. Okay? I'm
not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Only an arrogant person would even know that. Okay? But until next time, folks, thank you very much for listening. We've had a lot of fun giving you guys this content. The past 3 videos, we've had a blast doing this. And we hope to keep the content churning. So if you have any comments or you have any topics that you want us to talk about, fire them down below. I think next time we're going to talk Maritime League stadiums.
It's a good idea.
Or stadiums in general, Atlantic Canada.
Ooh.
That you like.
Now you're talking.
That you like.
We can get right into the minor hockey barns because there's some good ones.
Minor hockey barns.
Listen,
those
I'm in. Some good ones. That's it. Drop your stadium below. We'll rank it.
Honestly, put it down. Stadium. We'll talk about it because we've probably been there between myself and Bess. There's probably not a stadium in Eastern Canada we haven't been to.
You'd be very far.
You'd be hard pressed.
Yeah,
you'd be hard pressed. Like Montreal East now. Like let's not talk Saskatoon or anything.
I'll go east of Quebec. I'll go Atlantic Canadian provinces. I'm pretty much there. I'll say Atlantic Canadians.
Atlantic Canadian. You got an Atlantic Canadian rink, Atlantic Canadian province rink that you want to talk about. Comment below, and we will rank it. We'll even talk about it. We'll even break it down to the popcorn vendors or what the popcorn's like there because I've probably snuck in Antigonish Arena. Wicked popcorn. I'm just saying, home of Al McKinnis, and we're gone.